a few different things. So he says they're just talking about this verse. There's a few parts to the Sicha. The Sicha was originally said at different times, and then it was later points they put it together and the Rabbi edited it. So the first few Sifim, he says we already talked about. So let's start. The Heintige said that This said that
I have to say everything in English because people don't understand everything.
Because this week's parsha begins.
He can translate. You can do Hebrew.
Begins that when you're going to go out to war on your enemy, and Hashem is going to give him in your hands, you give the enemy in your hands, and you're going to conquer a captive. You're going to capture a captive. What happened to our friends over here?
Tell him tonight. I called him.
Is it okay?
It's best he's tired. Maybe next week.
Okay.
You'll tell him over what you know.
Yeah, I tried.
The inyan from them in Ruchnis is, what is the inyan in Ruchnis? What is this inyan in spirituality? What does it mean? A vecha gate, from guf and nefesh bahamas. The enemy goes on is referring to the body and the animal soul.
It's good.
Wie der Alter Rebbe is in Farshon Likutei, as Alter Rebbe says in the sefer called Likutei, in the book called Likutei, als they zijn die emes even von Adam. These are the real enemies of the person. We have to go out and have war with them.
That means with the body and with the nefesh bams.
Yeah. It's true that the purpose is not to break them. The point is to refine them.
Right. We were just talking about that.
Nevertheless, it's a war.
It's a war, wow.
Warum sie lassen sich nicht bewahren sein? Because they don't allow a person to refine them. When it says Nacha Shverer Mechama, but in the Nefesh Bahamas is active mit Hanesi. And it's even a harder war because the animalistic soul says he was there first. The person's born, he was there. The person only gets his full revelation of his godly soul only by his bar mitzvah. And this is what it says in the pasuk, when you will go out to war. All we have to do is we have to decide that we're going to war. We're not happy the way we are. We're going to try to come better. We're going to try to work with our nefesh bahamas, with our animalistic soul. We have to go out. When you go out to war, the person makes a decision that he's going to start not giving in to what they want, what this animalistic soul wants. Und demot sagt man dir then we promise you that that Hashem will give him into your hands. As du wirst him einnehmen, nicht chas schon verkehrt. You will conquer him and he will not conquer you. Nachmer, more than that, was there zukommen that the Sabbath is going to come in addition. Shavisa Shivya, it says it just like it means when you capture captives. Also, it means was das in Susa Shatoram Gashmi, this is going to be when you're going to elevate, you're going to be able to refine and take out the sparks, the godly sparks that are found in the physical things. You're going to be able to take them out, and you're going to and so that's like capturing captives. You're going to be able to gain them also, to bring them, and it's going to help you also in your
elevate them.
Elevate them, yeah. Alright, so that's one point. The beginning of this is one point, and now we're going to go on to another point. So this is just you say when you go out to war, a person just has to decide that he's going to go out to war, and then once that happens, Hashem promises you that everything He'll give you, He'll make everything, He'll help you out. Okay, so the next part is about a different mitzvah mentioned in this week's parsha. It says like it's the meaning from Micah. Micah means person has a house and he has to make and he has a roof. So he has to make a fence around his roof that somebody who goes on the roof shouldn't fall off. So
a railing step, roof, a gate, anything that protect you from falling. Window gate.
Hat mir das eine gefragt in a brief, so Rebbe says that somebody asked him in a letter, the time for Micah is doch mishum sakana. The reason for putting up this railing is that it's because it's dangerous. So via steht in Pasuk, it says in the Pasuk, it says, continuation, it says, you put up a gate, it says, and you shouldn't place any blood in your house, which means you shouldn't allow any blood to be spilled. Nobody should get hurt over there. Because somebody should fall over there. So, on the Rambam Paskin as Eifa Mitzvah Shem Mishum Sakana Machnit Kim Bracha. The rule is that we don't make a bracha on a mitzvah which is there to protect from something dangerous. So, in the Zalba paragraph for Paskin the Rambam is Shas Machta Maika, therefore Machna Bracha, Shishanu says the Son Las Maika. But what's interesting is that the Rambam who says is that we don't make a blessing, a bracha, when we have a
something dangerous.
When it's a mitzvah which is done just to protect from something dangerous, same Rambam says also that you do make a bracha when it comes to putting up a railing and putting up a fence.
Was it new? Something new?
Oh, so but the question is, but
because it's a mitzvah, midaraisa.
But the question is, if it's there just in order to protect from danger, we know that something mitzvah which is there for danger, we don't make a bracha on. So what's going on over here? The Rambam is sort of contradicting himself. Sure.
Seems like it.
It says you make asher kedishano b'mitzvaysa b'tzivano lasis maika.
You pass it that way, Doctor?
I don't know if we pass it that way, but the Rambam says this way. In Pashas Hatman you can't zagin. In Pash is simply we could say, or the inyan from the Sasam Dama v'Sefer can provide an iftar and adreifen. So you could say that maybe the reason why we make a bracha over here is because we could have exempted ourselves from this obligation of making a railing. How so? We only have to put up a railing if the house is at least 10 tfachim tall, a certain height. So what he could do is, in order to be exempt from putting up a railing, he could either make the roof lower, or he could lift up the property next to his house, lift it up higher, and this way you don't have to put a railing up. So the way of exempting himself is not making this railing, taking away his obligation to making this railing. As it's done, there's another way. So machin the gag v'shipur, he can make the roof on a slant.
Like a lot of houses.
A lot of houses, you make it on a slant. So anyhow, no one's going on there anyhow. So therefore, there's no problem of danger because nobody's going up there or it's not too high, and therefore he's exempt from making a railing. The fire there from Machna Bracha is Maike, Valda, done in Esadam Lesasan Dam Vesach. Therefore, this person wants to explain that this is the answer why we make a bracha, why the Rambam says we make a bracha by putting up a railing. Why? Because since there's a way of exempting himself out of the obligation, and he went and he made himself obligated, so, which means I could get out of the danger in a different way. I could make the house, I can make it slanted, or I can make the house lower, pick up the... So that's not the only way of getting rid of the danger. So this that I'm doing it in this specific way, so maybe that's why I make a bracha. So, but the Rebbe is not happy with that. The Rebbe says, let's take at face value what the Rambam says. Aber der Bier ist nicht massiv. Wenn man safe sagt, jeder der ganze Tag von dieser Marke ist nervös, und man kann das hat der Kusche Duchte, als if dem ist der Scheik in Bracha. The Rebbe says, what did the Rambam say? The Rambam said that if the whole point of putting up the gate of the railing is just in order to stop from danger, I don't care that I could have done it in a different way, but at the end of the day, this is what it's here for. We're here in order to protect from danger. And the Rambam says there's something, a mitzvah which is there to protect from danger, so we don't make a bracha on. That's the question. On the next page.
Well, I just want to ask you a question. Why, when the Rambam says that a mitzvah to protect from danger, you don't make the bracha, that's from something the Gemara says. It's in the Gemara like that. I mean, is there a time, a reason on it? Why you don't make a bracha if it's a mitzvah protecting from danger?
It's like a chonah to the mitzvah, it's not the mitzvah itself.
But I don't mean about a chonah to the mitzvah. The mitzvah gufa is saying we at that mitzvah, the time the reason from that mitzvah is to protect from sakana, you don't make a bracha. So how come it's Shteitas in the Gemara, it says that in the Mishnayos, or it must be everything he says is from the, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a reason? That's all. I mean, I'm sure it's going to come out when the Rabbi says the parents.
He's actually, we're going to get to really to the way it is in Navedas Hashem. He's going to say a teres, but he doesn't really get into the makar of the Rambam. On the second page, yeah, no, the MS is the Vasisa Michael Gagachom will sas and Dame Sachas and stables under the Tzivui. Only the truth is that these are in the pasuk. The way you read it is that it says you should make a gate for your roof, and sas and Dame Vesacha is and you shouldn't have any blood spilt in your house. So you think it's a continuation. That this is the reason. This is the mitzvah that you should put up a rail, and then there's the reason. But the Rambam actually divides it into two separate mitzvahs. So, that's not the reason for putting up a railing, is that you should make sure nothing dangerous happens.
No, according to this is like two mitzvahs. One mitzvah is don't put blood in your house, number one. Number two, make a...
Right. There's two separate things.
One has nothing to do with that.
One has nothing to do with itself. There's not a reason for it. And he brings a proof for this. The Rambam Zakta Klal and Shersha mitzvahs. The Rambam says a rule in the Shersha mitzvahs when talking about which mitzvahs are supposed to be included in the count of the mitzvahs. And this count of 6 different mitzvahs, as the time and mitzvahs rechnen sich nicht verbalsunter the mitzvahs b'minat hayag. That the reasons for the mitzvahs are not included in as one of the mitzvahs, right? It's only a reason for it. It shouldn't be included in one of the mitzvahs, obviously, right? And von deswegen b'minat mitzvahs rechnen der Rambam verbalsunter the mitzvahs. But nevertheless, the Rambam he counts two separate mitzvahs. In many mitzvahs, I say, when it comes to the positive commandments, rechnen the mitzvah from Asisa Maika, he says a mitzvah of you should make a railing. That's a one mitzvah. When you're counting the negative commandments, rechnen the mitzvah from leisas and dam. He says the mitzvah that you shouldn't have anything dangerous in your house. We see it's not the reason for putting up a railing, it's a separate mitzvah. These are two separate things. You shouldn't have anything dangerous in your house. Also, you should make a fence.
So there's two different things.
So these are two separate mitzvahs.
In other words, if a person will have something dangerous that nothing to do with the roof, he'll have in his house the Rambam says
100%. The Rambam says 100%. The Rambam says you can't have anything dangerous in your house. It's two separate things. The makar of the Rambam is in Sifri. Where's the source of the Rambam in Sifri? In Sifri state Vasisa Michael Gagacho Zum Mitzvahs. And that's there's two separate mitzvahs. So
what's the purpose of the makar?
So what is the purpose? It's a special mitzvah, but oh yeah, so obviously it's not there for danger, because that's the point. Because if it's there for danger, then you don't make a bracha. So basically we're holding on page 2 by Gimel. So basically what we're saying, to recap, what we said over here is that the Rambam says a very interesting thing. The Rambam says that mitzvahs which are there in order to stop us from, in order to prevent dangerous thing to happen, so we do not make a bracha on it. But at the same time, he says that we make a bracha on a maika. And seemingly, the pasuk says the reason is because l'sas and dama v'secha, anything dangerous shouldn't happen, nothing bad should happen in your house. So why does he say we make a bracha? The Rebbe explains that these are two separate mitzvahs. As a mitzvah l'sasim dama v'secha, you shouldn't have anything dangerous. That's not the reason for maika. But maika is a separate thing that a person should put up a railing on the top of his house, if that's the situation needs to be. So it's interesting. What's the inyan of a maika?
Somebody has a roof that nobody walks on. You don't really need a maika,
right?
What's he do?
He's saying
nobody goes
technically.
Out
he's saying according to the mitzvah. You're saying according to the mitzvah you have to.
Right.
But
How about a flat roof?
He's
People
saying
have flat roofs.
technically.
Nobody
he's
goes
walking
there.
around.
Nobody goes there. I wouldn't put a.
There's no reason to get a mark.
They don't put fences on these roofs.
I've learned it. I learned it.
But
No
any-
reason. Oh,
in other
You
words,
can't even go up to it. You can't even go up
the
to that.
Indian of Sakana is covered by Lysasim Dama, which is a Lysas. Right? In other words, the time of Sakana
Yeah.
is covered by the mitzvah of Lysasim Dama, which is a Lysas. So it's left a mitzvah to say Maka.
Yeah.
So on that we could say Bracha. I mean, let's say
Right.
there wouldn't be any Lysas.
But you still have to say. You still have to say that it's
Yeah.
not the reason of danger.
What?
You still have to say that the reason is not because of danger, because or else you're back to the question.
Oh, okay. I have to think of this. Okay. Thank you. Amen.
Talking
English
about
is like a reason and effect. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Also, that there's enough meaning in the Beis Sefer and Al Beis Sefer. Like when we say by mezuzah, we say something Al mezuzah.
and we make a bracha.
Al mezuzah, saying no, the ma'ake is not considered the Sefer because it's not in your house.
it's obvious stuff you're saying. So Sos and Vili Sech is a separate thing.
One thing on your house, another thing.
And if you have a porch,
And Al Beis Sefer,
Supposed to. We have here the porch.
but it's not in the house. It's not in your
Not
house.
in now. People have garage also.
and if you have
They-
a stair stairs in your house, you have to put a mic in.
Right.
Oh, a stairway, yeah.
That's
That,
not
that,
Beis Sefer.
yeah,
People have
sure.
swirling
Somebody can
staircase.
fall.
Any
have to
step,
have a
any
rail.
step, you have to
It's
rail
in your house.
Yeah, but the Pashtus case is talking about the Titus case. Pashtus is talking about on top of the house.
The
putting a
person
mic.
says God, right?
It's talking about the.
No, the Torah says Shulchan Shmotz Lots is Mechita Boyd Emser. It's not your house. It's outside your house. This is a different Ken's items.
Yeah.
Answering Balabandish.
Yeah. Right.
The porch also. Like the porch would also be included in that. That's why the porch.
Okay, so this is the Lumdus. Now we're gonna get to Avedis Hashem. It's too bad he's not here. He likes to Avedis Hashem.
Pinky.
What?
Pinky is.
Pinky. So there we go.
Pinky.
Okay, so Gimel, the Inyan from them in Avedis Hashem. What is the concept of a Micah putting up a fence on top of your house? What's that mean in the service of a person? Shas a Yid beit auf a binyan chadosh, and a Yid builds a new house. Sei nit genug the Gdarim as gehat frier. It's not enough this which he restricted himself earlier, his level which he was at beforehand. Und was ist beigestanden durch sie alle Nesenes, until now he overcame all of his challenges. Mela can look Zion as we sparach above Shalom Yodi, so he could convince himself everything's going to be fine from now. However, he was until now. He could continue on cruise, and he'll be okay. So Pashtus over here, building a new house is a new phase in life. A person's getting married, or any new phase in life. A person's coming in. So a person has to realize that when he's coming to a new place, a new situation, so there's new challenges, and therefore a person should add extra precautions to realize that the situation might be different than before, so beware.
Means prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself. He passed most of his years of his life and he was okay, so he thinks I'm good now. I doubt Rabbi Beis he has to know as we bow their gate Ibn Abayis Chodesh, since he's going into a new house. Hataranaya Veda, he has a new service, and he has to beware to prepare for the new challenges. What's can and sein in the Aveda Chadasha, which could come up in the new service. So he's going to give a few examples. V'shas megeta reis from case of the Beis Hamedrash, and about the person leaves the Beis Hamedrash, he goes into the world. Now it's starting a new work. He starts dealing with things which beforehand he didn't deal with. So that's generally, and not only generally, also every single day, a person was the only for talk dives I know. Avedis at Philip. Person starts davening. That's the first. He doesn't go into the world first. First he davens. He learns a little bit. Is b'shasek get reis in the Lamash Tefillah and the Lamash Lacha and the Lamatas Malachas Unchil. So when he's leaving from his Torah and Tefillah and he goes to deal with the world, daarvan machen en Maike zu bewahren in as Inyane Ilm over the Chil and sein wie man darf. As das soll nicht sein, der Damen wir sagen Kipel an Eifel. So it has to be a precaution of like a gate to be careful from all the things which a person is going to deal with that person shouldn't fall, a person should be careful.
So it's like fences, you set up fences to protect yourself.
Continue, the part continue.
Yeah, it's a hemshich, yeah. As even Gashem sagt, die Mike is in Hecher from Beis, Hecher afilo from Gaka Beis, everything's exact. So just like in a Micah is on gate is on top of the house, the roof. Azayich in Ruchnes daarvan nemen die Micah van een art was Hecher van zich Hasiyum en Makim Alinese. So too, when we're talking spiritually, where do we get the strength to have precautions to not fall? We have a special help from above. Like the mic is above, so we get our special help from above. When the fire is shaykh, that's the reason why we make a bracha on the mic, according to the Rambam. But when we as they can make a mic nemen von an art, was a hecher von dem art, and welcome gefinst. How can we get strength from something higher than where we are? And then that's the idea of a bracha. What's the idea of a bracha? Any bracha. Onleiten Pirshon Hazal, Chacham say, what bracha, B'loshen HaMavrich, this bracha, B'loshen HaMavrich is a geffen. That means to graft, means to draw down. Bracha means to draw down.
Or to extend.
Aren't you talking about physical and spiritual? Yeah. A person should protect himself, right. Spiritually speaking, not to fall. Right. Also. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
But we're saying in order to do that, we need to have special powers from above. Just like the Micah was from the gate was on top of the house. So how do we get strength? So that's through a bracha. So we're explaining a bracha has the power to draw down from higher than ourselves to give us special powers. So he's explaining that in the language of bracha, the word baruch comes from drawing, to draw down. So he says, "A mavrich is a geffen," means to draw down. They would take from the branch and they would bring it down to the ground.
We have a vineyard, right? The way it goes.
Yeah.
So if you wanted the vineyard to be bigger, the same branch is go. We take the branch and pull it out to the ground and cover it. So that branch now going to come another branch out. That's called. So you mamshich, you took something that's going, and you pull it down in order to.
So the words of the Mishnah is a mavrich. Mavrich is like similar to baruch, bracha. So bracha in Hebrew means to draw down.
So that explains why you're not in the house but on top of the house.
Right. Yeah.
You're taking something above you.
In Avedis Hashem, it's clear why it's on top. Yeah. Say some shacha. Baruch atah vayit. So what are you drawing down? Let's continue. So bracha means to draw down. Who are we drawing down? What are we drawing down? What level of godliness? You, right? Kedusha. What level of kedusha? Ata you. Havaya. What's havaya? Havaya is hechem avel. It says havaya is hoya hoya v'yakach. He was, he is, and he will be, and all in one shot. In this world, that doesn't happen, right? In our world, we have order. There was the past, there's the present, there's the future. Each one in its time. But Hashem is higher than the time. We can have it all in one shot. It's abbreviation. Havaya is that abbreviation. So when we're saying a bracha, we're drawing down Hashem. The way is higher than the level of godliness should be revealed down here to us and give us power. How do we do that? Is in a way that we're able to receive it. Alekeinu has to do with contracting it and basically confining it in a way that we're able to receive it.
Making a connection.
Right. For us.
Make the connection.
Right. It has
to be important to me to know to thank God for the past and the future. Wherever He is, God,
no, it's just describing this, what level of godliness this is. We're describing that we're talking about Hashem, the way He's higher than time, which means He's higher than the world. So that's what's going to give us the power to deal with the world, is from a power from something that's higher than the world.
By understanding that, that's
By saying the bracha, by the Micah, for example, or by any bracha, we accomplish that. So that actually gives us powers, and to be able to overcome the challenges. So it gives us power to be like a Micah, like a.
Really?
Actually, in Chassidus it says about the whole discussion about if you make a bracha, if you make a bracha on the shalyad or also the shoresh, right? So a lot of people make also on the shoresh, right? So Likutei explains that what's the reason why some people say you don't make in shoresh, because since it's such a high madrega, you can't bring it down. Bracha's idea of bringing something down. He says you're not able to bring it down, so therefore you can't bring it down with the bracha.
What you mean the shal rosh? Whereas the shalyad is the asiyah, not to do the mitzvah lemaisa and not to do the
Rabbi. He doesn't get into that. He doesn't get into that.
But aren't you elevating yourself when you're making brachas?
Is that why it's a high?
You're elevating
He doesn't discuss that. Sorry?
When you're making brachas in general, you're elevating your neshama, the individual.
You're bringing Hashem. You're revealing Hashem. What's it mean? You're saying right now I'm eating some food, and this is a worldly thing. And then I'm connecting and I'm saying, thank you God for creating this food. I'm bringing God, revealing Him in this world. That's simply what it means. So explaining also the words are also actually mean that.
But doesn't it come into your neshama also?
Sure. Yeah.
So it elevates you.
Sure. That's the whole idea. Yeah. Right, so he says, when we bring Hashem down, then He should be Melech. We're continuing the bracha. Baruch atah havaya likenu. Melech ha'olam, that God should be the King of the world. He should be revealed as the King of the world. And durch den wird v'tzivanu, and continuing the bracha. Baruch atah havaya likenu Melech ha'olam. Asher k'dish shonim says v'tzivanu, which tzivanu means connection. Safsa v'chibur, just like a mitzvah, it's a connection. Tzivanu means He's connecting us. Laisas makah to do this makah. Das gibt kayach. This bracha that gives us strength. If machen ein Maike geweya sarat vachim, if ein Gag von Elam Abria, as das die Kak von Elam Atzil, so steht in Kisverizah. It's Kabbalistic is ideas. It's in the Arizal. The Arizal says that above, in the higher spiritual worlds, it's the idea of making there's four worlds. Atzilus Bria, Atzilus Asiya. Atzilus is totally all feels God.
What do you mean, the higher levels in Shemayim?
Yeah, the spiritual world.
Yeah.
So Atzilus is a world that feels doesn't have anything of its own. It's all about God. Bria is already starting to have some sort of creation. So he says that we have this idea of making a Maika. What it means in the spiritual world is the idea of having it on top of the Olam HaBria, the world of Bria, on top, which is in the world of Atzilus, which means we get from Atzilus, we get the power to be able to, in the world which is created, the Bria, which feels itself as its own existence, gets its power from Atzilus, from the higher world, which feels the connection to God, is drawn down.
So that's the source.
That's the source. And that's how it comes down. It plays its down in the person's soul, and then it eventually plays itself down in the actual mitzvah of actual doing it. Everything has a shaydish. Everything has a source above. Shtalshlos. Okay, now he gets a little more specific. So now we said we're talking about if you come to a new situation, so a person should prepare and be ready to be able, and gets power to be able to deal with all the challenges. So he's now going to be even more specific. Dalit, page 3, the first column, the second paragraph. The Ira Mefretes from them is, what's the specific lesson we have from this? Al derech with the Ira from Chacham and Chami Admer, as jeder Rosh Hashanah darf in Epes meistens sein wie jeder Mitzvahs Asir, des Hiros, V'leisasa, Van Hakateva. That the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, he gave a directive that every Rosh Hashanah we should add something, to do something extra special in doing let's say mitzvahs assay, and one mitzvahs assay, one thing, positive commandment, we should do something extra special about it. We should do it a beautiful way. We should do it extra special.
I'm not thinking something new. Do something you're doing.
A hiddur, adding, making it nice. Be careful from doing something. Behavior. And he says like very interesting. I feel like früher seine gewähnt alle seine Hanhages wie man darf I feel like ich früher sein gewesen alles ein Hackes wie man denkt. Even if everything was perfect before, and they should always do something more. Okay. Weil jeder Rosh Hashanah nimmt sich Chadash, wir steht in Gertzikesh. Why is this? Why specifically Rosh Hashanah? Rosh Hashanah is not just the new year in the calendar, right? But it's also it gives the energy for the entire year is drawn down in the day of Rosh Hashanah. It's called the head of the year. And like the head has the energy for the whole body, so now a new energy which never existed, and new powers, new things that we could accomplish, which never existed there ever before. It's drawn down in every Rosh Hashanah, a new start, a new light, Chadash. That's why we find that we should do something extra special, new, even though we're good beforehand. Let's try to find something to add on, something, because for this new year we have correspondence in the light. So too when a Yid starts a new service, you see whether he's going out from the Beis Hamikdash into the world, or the Yid in Tag Gufa nach and daven and learning in them free, or every day after he davens and learns in the morning, when hebt on so tan mit inyan elam, after an epis mesa sein friede kemay mit the matzah. Person should always add something more every day. We should think about how I could be better. This is always the Rebbe's line, right? When you think about however good a person was yesterday, he could always be better the next day. That's what it means. When you build a new house, you should make a fence for your roof. From above, we give the power to make a fence. Has to be, how tall does the fence has to be? Has to be 10 tfachim. What's it mean 10? To draw down this new light. And Allah seine Esser Kechas HaNefesh, and all of his 10. Right? Just like the Micah has to be 10 tfachim, we also have to draw this light into all of our 10 faculties. A person has 10 faculties in them, like a mental faculty, emotional, and the action. From the Kechas Chabad, from Biz from the Maisa, which means a person is supposed to use this new power which he's getting in all of his parts of him, and emotionally, and mentally, and actually. Also, then automatically, the person will be sure that he won't fall. Will be a beautiful place. So this is the second Sicho. The point is that a Yid has special powers every day, and especially when Rosh Hashanah comes, to be able to add and become better. And he gets that, so that's the idea of a Micah.
So how do you answer the steer from the Rambam?
Oh, the Rambam, which we said that the Rambam said that this which says that you shouldn't make any that a person should make a fence, and then it says that there shouldn't be anything dangerous in your house, so that nobody should get hurt. So seemingly, it's the reason. The reason why you should make a fence is because why? Because you shouldn't. The person shouldn't get hurt.
So one has nothing to do with that.
But the Rebbe says no. There's two separate things. There's one thing: a person, nobody should get hurt. That you have to. That's a separate mitzvah. That we see from the Rambam. The Rambam says it's a separate mitzvah. Leisas. There's another mitzvah. A person should make a Micah. It's not because of zakana. It's not because of danger.
Or should to mamshich from higher level.
This we explain.
The person should make it to mamshich from higher level down to this earth. That's it.
Yeah.
In other words, somebody doesn't have a bite.
So Api Nigla, the Rebbe didn't give a reason. What's a Micah? Didn't give a reason. Only Api Chassidus, he explained what the Micah is. He explained the idea of a Micah in Chassidus, that the Micah is to draw from above to help a person when he's building a new house, that he should have the power to overcome his challenges.
I don't have a chiyuv to build a house, but if I build a house, then I have a chiyuv of making a Micah.
So yes.
So I don't have a chiyuv to go out to the wood, but if you go out to the wood, right, you could. Let's say if you sit instead of Beis Hamikdash, it's okay. Once you go out from Beis Hamikdash to the wall, you have to make a market. You have to draw it down.
Well, it doesn't say you're okay, but in this sikha is what he discusses.
A person doesn't have a chiyuv to build a house, but once you build, you have a chiyuv to make a market.
When you go into a new situation, a new house,
and that's what it says. When you go out from Beis Hamikdash, meaning to the wall, make a fence, bring down from a higher level. Not you're not the guy the Hebrew.
Yeah.
In the Chumash, it brings directly by the same place. It brings Baikif when it falls off. It brings the case when you fall off the roofs. And the same thing. And there's a whole Sichos on that too. It seems like it's directly correlated to Sakana.
That's a pashtus. That's the pashtus. But we're asking the Rambam Shitta. The
Rambam you get asked.
The Rambam, what are we going to do? The Rambam says you don't make a bracha on something which is a sakana, mitzvah sakana. So what are you going to do?
I know, but this is I'm asking on the Rambam. According to the way you're saying this, the Micah is totally separate from this. But from the pasuk itself, it seems like
that was the whole question. That was the whole build-up. That was totally not understood because of what you're saying. But that was the big chiddush of the Sichos that we see from the Rambam, that they're two separate things, because the Rambam counts them. One is mitzvah aseh v'asisa ma'ika, and a mitzvah leisas v'lisam adam v'sacha. If that was the reason for sisa ma'ika, so why is he counting as a separate mitzvah? You don't count the reason as a separate mitzvah. So he proves from the Rambam they're two separate things. Because what you're saying, that's a simple explanation of the pasuk. 100%.
No, the sas and bama is a mitzvah. It's not a tam mitzvah.
Right, and like he brought out that the Rebbe over here explained the reason of the mitzvah was sisa ma'ika p'chsidus, like p'pnimis inyanim. Explained what's the idea. That's the reason. That for MS, even on p'chsidus, it's there in order a person shouldn't fall.
Al Pi Nigle, what we're trying to bring over here, if you stay in Beis HaMedrash, nothing gonna happen to you. Right? You don't need a market. You don't build a house.
Because you're learning Torah.
You daven, you learn nothing. You don't.
Yeah. We're talking
the
about
only
the
time that you need a market is we go out. What does it mean in Beis Chodesh? You go out from Beis HaMedrash. This is a Beis Chodesh. You're bringing a shem to a new house, to the world. The Rebbe is in the Beis HaMedrash. You don't need a fence. You need a fence when you're not in Beis HaMedrash.
The third only applies to someone who can afford a house. This I wrote about the Shem. It applies only. What about a bucket or something like that?
So he's bringing it. The house is now makom or not makom. That's the house. Everybody go out from the Beis HaMedrash. Everybody. Right? You leave the Beis HaMedrash, so you go out. What you go out?
A Beis Chodesh Pashat. First of all, you have a chassan and kala. Chassan and kala, they just got married, so they were starting a new. And that's what Pashat means. A Beis Chodesh. Also, Beis Chodesh is a new phase in life, or he says that's a new year, a new Erev Chodesh, a new year. Or he says every day a person's leaving from the walls of the davening and learning a little bit and going out to the world. That's also Beis Chodesh means a new transition, stage.
Like the Rebbe says, Rosh Hashanah, you will take something new. Why do you need something new? You do everything good. The Mamshich something new.
Yeah. Like it's good.
It wasn't happy with what he is now. Is new.
Yeah.
Somebody wants a shliach come to the Rebbe and he says, "Wow, this year we had 200 kids in this school." So he wanted the Rebbe to go like this step. So the Rebbe asked him at that point, and how many Jewish kids in this town doesn't go to the school yet? So it's no matter how much he did, it's more to.
Hear it from everyone. A lot of people hear this idea. But the Rebbe always told them that never to be satisfied with what was yesterday.
How much is more?
Today.
How much is more where it is?
You don't say it's yesterday was the Shema. It's not.
One more?
Okay, yeah, we'll do one more shtickle maybe. We can chop it in. Okay, page 3 on the left hand, the left column. It's the hey. Okay, left hand column, page 3, the second paragraph on the left. Hey. Varan Deis says Kriyas Parsha Zachar with the right. So there's some opinions, many opinions, that the reading of Parsha Zachar about Amalek is Minhat Torah. It's biblical commandment. Inside the mitzvahs asif and Zachar is Asher Asol L'cha Amalek. It says you should remember this which Amalek did to you. That's why we have to read and hear it read in the Torah, Parsha Zachar, the reading about Amalek, what Amalek did to us. I said the asif from Zachar is ich vanan Allah leisishkach. There's also a negative commandment, besides for the positive commandment of remembering, don't forget, leisishkach. Und das ist eine von den Teilen von der Idee ist, als ich Naschen seine Mechuyev beskirres Amalek, weil sie seien in der Mechuyev in dem Lav, seien sie Memelech Mechuyev in der Asif. We know that women are obligated in anything which is all the negative commandments, are now allowed to transgress. That's clear. When it comes to the positive commandments, so they're not always obligated. But he says since they're obligated in the negative commandments, therefore also there is opinions would say that women should go to hear also, or at least mention, they should mention about Amalek. They remember about Amalek. But then versteht man wie viel also nötig der Linie von Skills Amalek als alle seine Mechuyev in them. From here we see how important it is that everyone should, the idea of remembering Amalek, because we see everyone is obligated in this.
Isn't it one?
Now that was in this week's Pasha. That we were obligated
Yeah, he says
the Torah.
Right.
But this is talking about before Purim.
Did you say that the part of it, any mitzvahs asay, Pesach, this, anything that here is a Malik, something they're affected by a Malik all the time. Why do they push it? The Nashim, it's a complete effect on them. Those types of mitzvahs asay, Nashim are machuyah. They're this Pesach.
According to some opinions, they have to do this, and some say not.
He's saying it's not. Saying it's not a mitzvah.
The Rabbi saying
it's
according to these days,
that's why we say it every day.
He's saying you're mechuyev on it. It's always a. To remember, that's why we say it during the day. It's a chiyuv both during the 9 days. That's why we say
it every day after Lerner.
That's why we say
saying, why should they be exempt? Just saying, what's the reason why they should be exempt?
Yeah, I'm saying it. Even if it was a mitzvah say Shas Man Groma, then I know, but I'm saying that even that's a chiddush. Even a mitzvah say Shas Man Groma mitzvah to say if it's negay, then they have to do. Kal v'chomer, something which is a mitzvah to say for nashim which isn't a mitzvah say Shas Man Groma, they should have to be involved.
It's not a lot.
That's right. Mitzvah say Shas Man Groma.
No, it's a mitzvah say Stamish.
Yeah.
But
they're involved.
And a lot. The law here is not to forget. So why should you always in a lot of they should forget?
But remembering and not to forget is the same thing.
No, but not to forget. They're chayav and all Mrs. Leisas. Why are they here? So the discussion because chinuch.
Why is it said? Why is that said? Why is it said?
What's his point? You're saying? What's he getting to? So he's asking what's the point? What are we getting to? So there's he's not. You're asking a very good question. That's a very good question. He's asking what's the point over here of the Sichos? What are we trying to get to? So we're trying to get to bring out how important mentioning Amalek is. Remembering what Amalek did. We're trying to stress that point of how important it is.
Why?
Why? Because he's going to explain what it means in spirituality. What's the idea of Amalek? Therefore, it's to tell us why it's very important to. Today we have to know. This happened. Right.
No, we have a Malik now.
No, I understand that. But he's talking about what happens in the Torah happened with Moshe.
But the Malik wasn't happening with Moshe. It happened with us now.
Yeah. Okay. Bringing it forward, bringing it forward now. What are we learning?
Right. That's the point. Well, how does it apply today?
How does it apply today?
Right. So he's saying he's bringing out that it's important, and that's why we should look into it because. We see even women could be also obligated biblically. So we see that it's very important mitzvah. So we want to look into it. Why is it so important?
I want to know exactly why. This is a very important issue.
Right.
Very also, you should know. You have to know.
How did you command me to remember and to command me do not forget? You said you command something like that to remember and not to forget. Either I remember or I don't remember. Either I forget or I don't forget.
Who's saying that?
No, how can you command it? How can you command you?
Okay.
So let's learn.
Okay, Vav.
This is a very important subject.
We only have a few.
This is.
We only have a few minutes left, so let's try to get this covered already. When it's not possible to wipe out Amalek today, there are some opinions that this mitzvah is only on the king, that the king should
take the job.
He has to draft all the people, all the Yidden to go wipe out Amalek. Now, even according to the opinions would say that every single Yid has the obligation to get rid of Amalek. Even according to this opinion, they're still not possible today to get rid of Amalek. Why? First of all, you didn't have to be in control. Beis, Beis klar, that is Mizar Shalom Aleichem. Shabbos, Sacherev Bilbo Se'ilam, Gaten Likutei, B'chol Parish Miru B'Parish. Only if we know exactly who comes from Amalek, And since Sanchedav came and he messed up the whole world, he moved everyone around, all the nations in different places, he switched around the nations. Therefore, we go after the majority. The majority is not a malik, right? And whoever separated Padish Meruba from the majority, any person who separates from there, we assume that he comes from the majority. So today we can't assume that anyone's a malik. We have to assume that he's not a malik. So
even if you're in Germany itself, you're saying?
Even in Germany. You can't say because...
And the guy has blue eyes and blonde hair.
Where does it say that's a Malay? That's Gesagt.
So that's what it doesn't say that's a Malay. But everyone knows that's what a German looks like.
But
when Mashiach wird kommen,
says like you.
When Mashiach wird kommen, wird es demut wird sein, ja, die sollte kippen. But when Mashiach's going to come...
Listen.
When Mashiach's going to come, and then we're going to know that Yidden are going to be strong then when Mashiach's going to come. Und man wird weiter sein, wer es stammt von Amalek, and then we'll see who comes from Amalek. Then wird Malach HaMashiach meichen sein alle Inyanen von Amalek in Mishra Adisha, and then Malach HaMashiach is going to destroy everyone, all the nation of Amalek.
I thought the person that's going to live through all the Achas anyway is going to be holy. So how can an Amalek live through it? It says Yom Kodesh Yom Eloi.
He's a starke Klippe, you know, he stays around. That's what we're learning about. He's still around there.
In other words, we're not going to know nothing until Mashiach comes.
When Mashiach comes,
who Amalek is? Who Amalek is?
Yeah, so that's in Gasha, but that's physically. But in Aveda Ruchni spiritually is veranderd in Nechitzer, you have it also today. As alle Yidden zijn mechuyev is Chris Meis Amalek, and that's why everyone's obligated to remember what Amalek did. Even women, maybe this answers her question. Women which don't have obligation to go out to war,
should remember.
But nevertheless, for some reason they still have this obligation to
remember.
When the mitzvahs Chidus Ma'isa Malach is in that ein mal in Leben, it's not only one time in your lifetime you have to remember, or ein mal in Yar or once a year. Nor the dives on Yeder Tag every day, like we say Shei Chidus with 6 remembrances after davening. So also remember Amalek. Because das is a vifel as in the Giyas Chidus Ma'isa Amalek, Ruchnis HaKapana, Beis Hashem and alles so that shows us how important it is to remember Amalek, at least spiritually, in service to Hashem in all times. Zai, the reading from Amalek and Ruchnis, what is the concept in spirituality? As she says, Ashekarcha Baderech. So what's in Shakarcha? Was macht kaus, wie the Medrash Teich. The Medrash Teich is that Karcha means, doesn't mean happened upon you. Karcha means he chanced upon you. Karcha Teich is cold. And the Derech from Teira Mitzvah, he cools you off from doing Teira Mitzvahs. Und an Kegin, der Kridos von Amalek, der von Chama halt in Yeder Tag, against this coldness of Amalek, every day we have to fight against that. As a wenig was hat sich Nächten angewärmt in Teira und Avedas hat viel, not enough that yesterday he became warm in Teira and davening, darf jaint weiter mit Chama halten an Kegin, der Kridos von Amalek, and today has to, again, have war against the coldness of Amalek. Yeder Tag nach Edrom and Geta Reis, haben sie damit in Yana Elam, every day before we go out to deal with the world, darf man sich anwärmen und Chama halten an Kegin Amalek, we have to have war against Amalek. Und was das darf sein in Daven? When does that happen? That happens when we daven.
Is that the Yitzhak you're talking about? Is Amalek part of the Yitzhak?
He's part of them, part of the crew.
He's the chief of staff.
Steve.
Can I ask a question though? And I see this teaching us not to think about the Yitzhak. They just do your voice Hashem. It's just a right. But don't pay attention to it. So why are we getting into such a big battle?
So because he has to tell us what the problem is, but then he tells us what we should do afterwards. We have to know why we're doing what we're doing.
Fine, kill him. What do we have to kill him for? Just go away from him.
So how are we gonna get rid of him?
There's 2 ways. It's either spreading light or I'm saying there's lots of things. But the avoid of a is to make it spread light, and that's the choshen.
Right. So how do we do that? That's exactly what he's saying. Durch the slavos and davening, through enthusiasm in the middle of davening, that enthusiasm, at the kind of Muhammad happened with Amalek, when he deals with the world and tries to pull him up, he's on fire. You can't start up. Und das ist Achanas und Mechia Zarish al Amalek V'Gashmias, was das wird sein mit Beis Melch Mashiach from Hedi Yemen. That's also a preparation for actually getting rid of Zarish al Amalek and Gashmias. It's physically, that's what happened when Mashiach is in the crowd.
We said that there's the story, right? The guy's in a wagon. He says, "What are you going so fast for?" He says, "Because you got to run away from the Yitzhak." Alright. So what are you talking about?
He's in the wagon, eh?
He's already in the wagon. So what do you mean we're going to dive in and we're going to avoid him? He's in the wagon with us.
But the Kedusha will
I say you have to dive with the Slavish, and he's with us, so.
So there's different Yisharas. This one's the cold one, so we have to. That's the davening is warming up. So he doesn't like that. He doesn't like joining that wagon.
In that wagon he won't go in.
Yeah, there's different wagons.
We just said before that there's two Netzor, one comes for davening, one comes to the Luminatera. The kid said, when it's davening, it's a war that you fight with Netzor. When you come to Luminatera, Netzor has no war.
Yeah.
Oh, he says davening is hard.
That's
So
for the
he
shock.
just said he's not in it, but he's not in the wagon. Mother's not even in the wagon.
Different Yitzaharas. This is the Yitzhahara of coldness. Yitzhahara Amalek is Krirus. Was is Negei Lefarsim is the Rebbe says where we should publicize is as Machamas Amalek Darzaim Chal Dei V'Dei V'Chal Yem V'Yem. The fighting Amalek has to be every single day, every single generation. Und man kennt sich nicht bei Nugin in der Mit. Ja, der Mitzvah.
That's right.
We can't be happy with the way we were until now. Man kennt sich in Nugin in der Mitzvah, so that Gehata Shin im Zeding had a nice Zaydah, Shin im Tat a good father, or there Allein is Eikim and Friya Shin Yid, or he himself was a good Jew before. It's not enough.
What Shmuel is saying is that this Hamas, which is the ISIS says, no, we're the bigger flip. We're the ISIS.
Danke ständig von Chama hat und dann kijken naar de kalt came from Amalek in every we always have to have war against the coldness of Amalek for them. It's Hadem was er Faram by him. Then Shalom can sich those are weak, those are left over. Can sich reingappen Amalek is dan gekomen Shalom achracha. He can reingappen over there. He could bees me met veel met bees van Mashiach. Der mag sim gezegd van Amalek und der mag hem gezegd van Amalek. Mamish Mashiach in de kamer gonna.
Amen.